you to imagine something really quick. Pretend that you're a developer at Nintendo in 1988. You just watched Super Mario Bros. 3, a game that you poured your heart and soul into, released on the Famicom and be heralded as one of the best video games ever made. Now imagine being told to do that again, make it bigger, better, and accomplish this on brand new, unfamiliar 16-bit hardware. Oh, and it has to be a launch title. Right after wrapping up work on Mario 3, the Mario team at Nintendo were told to begin work on Super Mario Bros. 4 and make it for the upcoming 16-bit Super Famicom/Super Nintendo Entertainment System. At the start, they simply copied over a lot of stuff from Mario 3, but eventually, after some internal criticism, they began the process of giving this game an identity of its own. The map was made to be less Mario 3-like, the Super Leaf was replaced with a brand new flying power-up, levels were made to encourage exploration, and the title was changed from the somewhat boring-sounding Super Mario Bros. 4 to Super Mario World. When Nintendo's new 16-bit powerhouse was released, Super Mario World was present at the launch day, and in fact, it was bundled with the system here in North America. And just like the first and third games, which were praised for being some of the greatest games ever made, so was Super Mario World, and it would go on to become the best-selling game on the Super Nintendo. Nowadays, people often debate if this or Mario 3 are the better game. Now, as for me, well, if you read the title of this video, you can probably take a good guess where I stand in that. So let's delve into why I think Super Mario World is the best 2D Mario game ever made. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Toadstool decide to take a well-deserved vacation to Dinosaur Land, home of the dinosaur Yoshi, who had helped the Mario Bros. When they were younger. Mario and Luigi head off to say hi to their old friend, only to find a note at his home saying that he went off to rescue 7 Yoshi eggs that were stolen by Bowser. Mario and Luigi quickly head back to the princess, only to find her missing, and since Bowser is in Dinosaur Land, they quickly put 2 and 2 together, so Mario begins his quest to save the Yoshi eggs and rescue Princess Toadstool. At the start, we can watch the demo of the game on the title screen to learn about some of the new mechanics such as Yoshi. We also have a new feature to use, that being saving! Yes, for the first time in a mainline Mario game, we can save our progress, and that's just because of how much content is packed into this game. You can also choose to do multiplayer here, which functions like how it did in Mario 3, minus the Mario Bros. Minigame, but now you can give lives to the other player if they suck enough to get a game over. Upon starting our playthrough, the game informs us of the current plot before plopping us at Yoshi's house on Yoshi's Island, and we immediately have options. We can go to Yoshi's house and read that note that he left for us, or play one of 2 levels. Right from the onset, we can choose our first level. Both are similar in difficulty, so it's up to you as to which one you want to play first, but let's start off with the one on the left. Here in Yoshi's Island 1, we can get reacquainted with Mario in this new world. All of his abilities from the first 3 games, plus the ROM hack, return so we can run, jump, pick up Koopa shells and certain blocks, and throw them as projectiles, but now with the press of the A button, Mario will perform the spin jump. While it doesn't go as high as the regular jump, the added spin puts some extra oomph into Mario's jump that can one-shot certain enemies that would otherwise take 2 stomps to kill, and even allow Mario to break through blocks when he's big. Speaking of big, the main Mario power-ups return and function as they did before. The Super Mushroom, the Fire Flower, the Superstar, they're all here. But the power-ups introduced in Mario 3 have all been removed. No Raccoon Tail, Tanuki Suit, Frog Suit, Hammer Bros Suit, they're all gone. However, in their place is something arguably even better, the Cape Feather. When collected, Mario will get this yellow cape, and this thing is probably one of the best flying power-ups Mario has ever had to date. With a running start, Mario can take off and rock back and forth to stay in the air, and if you get a really good rhythm with it, you can even gain height, allowing you to fly over entire levels if they allow for it. That's not even all that the cape does. You can spin with it like you could with the tail in Mario 3, but this thing is on crack with how fast it goes. Mario becomes a fucking lawnmower with this shit. You can even slam down into the ground and kill any enemy that's on the floor. You might also notice that when you collect a power-up already Super Mario or higher, then the previous power-up will be sent to this box at the top of the screen. That's because this box is your item reserve. You can press the select button to drop the item down, or when you get hit, it'll be released automatically. There is one new power-up that doesn't appear as much, but is still here, the P-Balloon. This will temporarily, This had to have awakened something in someone when they were younger, right? This will allow Mario to float for a short period of time, although it moves very slowly and isn't all that fun to maneuver in tight areas, but like I said, you rarely come across it. Of course, we are not in the Mushroom Kingdom, so we have new enemies in this game. Although not every enemy is brand new, Goopas are still here, but instead of retreating into their shells when stomped on, they go flying out instead. Wigglers are also introduced in this game. You stomp on them once, and they turn red with rage and begin to move around more erratically. Rexes require 2 stomps to be defeated. Goombas don't die when stomped on. Instead, they turn belly up and can be picked up and thrown. Bullet Bills make the return, but now you can encounter Jesus! Bonsai Bills. Then there is this asshole, Charging Chuck, who takes 3 stomps to kill and comes in a whole menagerie of flavors. He can charge at the player, throw baseballs, kick footballs, dig up boulders, duplicate into 3 of itself, and whistle to summon enemies to attack you. What a fucking asshole. Of course, not everything in this game is hostile towards the plumber, as not far into the journey we find Yoshi, who is trapped inside an egg. Mario can ride the dinosaur and get him to eat things such as fruit and certain enemies. Yoshi can also insta-stomp some enemies and even bounce off other ones harmlessly like piranha plants. Yoshi can also act as a free hit, and you can even dismount him for some extra height should you need it, or you can just sacrifice him, you monster. What's great is that you can also bring Yoshi pretty much anywhere, save for fortresses and ghost house levels. You can also get special abilities for Yoshi depending on the color of Koopa shell that he has in his mouth. Green doesn't do anything, but red will turn into fireballs, blue will give Yoshi wings allowing him to fly high into the sky, yellow will give him this powerful stomp ability, and the rare Omni shell will give him every ability at once, which makes the green dinosaur incredibly versatile. You can even find colored variants later in the game that will always have the corresponding color ability along with the ability that the shell gives when they have it in their mouth. So say Blue Yoshi, for example. You can put a red shell in his mouth and he'll still be able to fly high into the sky, but then when you spit the shell out, it'll be fireballs. Here on Yoshi's Island, we can find the Yellow Switch Palace, which allows us to get a ton of coins, but at the end is this big yellow switch that when pressed, will fill these yellow dotted lines with yellow blocks. This isn't the only type of color switch, as you can find green, red, and blue. These can make certain levels much easier, and the yellow and green blocks can even give Mario power-ups. You can completely ignore them if you want to make the game more difficult, as they do act as a sort of difficulty modifier. You might have also noticed these odd coins that look like those penny press coins that you could find at a zoo. You know what I'm talking about, right? You go up to the machine, you put a penny in it, you select either the sheep or the cow or the pig, and it prints one of those farm animals onto the penny. Either way, these are the dinosaur coins. There are 5 in each level, and collecting all 5 grants you 1 up. In this game, you have to cross a goalpost at the end of the level, but you might notice this line of tape running up and down it, and if Mario crosses the tape, then he gets rewarded these bonus points with the amount depending on how high up the tape was when you crossed it. When you reach 100 bonus points, you get sent to a bonus game, where you pretty much play a game of matchup for a chance to earn extra lives. Of course, we have new level types as well. I mean, the usuals are here, you know, ground, underground, sky, fortress, but new to this game are ghost houses. These are pretty much puzzles where you need to find the level exit, all the while avoiding the various ghost enemies, such as Boos, Big Boos, Boo Rings, and these green blob things. Nearly every ghost house except for 2 has a secret exit, so keep an eye out for those as well. Oh right, the secret exits! You might notice how some levels use a solid yellow dot on the map screen while others flash red and yellow. Well, if the level is flashing, then that means that that level has a secret exit. There are a max of 2 exits per level, with most secret exits being taking this key to a keyhole and being subjected to the THX noise. Secret exits can open up pathways to brand new areas and even open up shortcuts to later levels. Alright, it looks like we cleared out Yoshi's Island, so now let's take on the first fortress level, and it will become immediately apparent that these fortresses aren't fucking around anymore. They want Mario dead. Just look at this section here. It's an auto-scroller with these largest pillars that come crashing down in an attempt to squash the poor plumber. At the end is a battle with Iggy Koopa, where we need to knock him off this platform and into the lava, which can be a little tricky as the platform will wobble side to side, but eventually Iggy falls and Mario rescues the first of the Yoshi eggs. We even get this cutscene of Mario destroying the fortress. We can then move on to Donut Plains. Donut Plains will introduce the player to some of the more new concepts of Super Mario World, such as the secret exits and the first 2 ghost houses. The first ghost house can open up a pathway that takes us to the end of Donut Plains, but if we manage to find the secret exit, then a star will spawn on the map that will warp us to Star Road, which we will save for much later. If we manage to find the secret exit in the second ghost house, then it'll open up access to this top secret level, which we can return to at any time to stock up on power-ups and such. We can also find the Green Switch Palace hidden in Donut Plains, and these green blocks are amazing. They all contain a cape feather, which is always appreciated. Next, we enter the second fortress, which brings back Thwomps from Mario 3, but you can also find their children, Thwimps, which makes me wonder about the mechanics of Thwomp reproduction. The final section is something that you'll get used to seeing more of later, that being these tower climb sections with these blocks shifting left and right. At the top of the fortress is Morton Koopa Jr., who will climb the walls of the boss arena and try to drop down on Mario from the ceiling, just like that mouse boss from Mario Land 2, except, well, this game came first. For sending Morton to the Twilight Zone, we save the second Yoshi egg, as Mario literally stomps the fortress down. You know, I hope that these fortresses were built by Bowser recently and haven't been there for a long time and actually belong to the residents of Dinosaur Land, or else, you know, Mario might be going to jail soon for property damage. Vanilla Dome is the underground area of the game, and if the fact that we weren't underground right now didn't tip you off to that, then I have something I need to ask you really quick. How many fingers am I holding up? What's cool with this area though is that you can just straight up skip the fortress here if you manage to take the secret exit in Vanilla Dome 1, which can easily be done if you've accessed the Red Switch Palace, or you can just be a part of the scum of the earth that would abandon Yoshi, you monster. Vanilla Secret 1 was another notable level here because it's a vertical climb level, featuring me being the most stubborn motherfucker trying to get to the secret exit in this level for 2 minutes straight. I did it. I'm pretty sure I wasn't meant to do it. Either way, it leads to yet another warp to Star Road, but by clearing the level normally, we can gain access to the next area, that being Twin Bridge, without clearing Vanilla Dome. Instead, you can take this alternate path with its own unique levels, one of which offers the means to earn a shitload of extra lives. Vanilla Secret 3 is really cool, as you have to cross this body of water by hopping across this herd of dolphins, all the while avoiding this big-ass fish that is chasing Mario throughout most of the level. What's most unique about this hidden section of the world is the fortress. Now, this isn't one of the main fortresses, as indicated by the fact that it doesn't have a number next to it, but the whole fortress itself is underwater, which leads to some pretty cool level design. In these kind of fortresses, instead of fighting one of the Koopalings, we fight this rhino boss called Reznor. These aren't super hard, you just need to knock out all 4 of them by hitting the bottom of the platforms that they stand on, which is pretty easy. With the Vanilla Secret area cleared, we can access the upper area of Twin Bridge, that being Butterbridge. Okay, wait a minute. Why are all these places named after food? I'm asking because this shit is making me hungry. Anyway, Butterbridge 1 is an auto-scroller. Once both Butterbridge levels have been cleared, you have a clear shot to the 4th fortress, which we could do right now, but for the sake of completion, I went back and finished the rest of Vanilla Dome. If you manage to find the secret exit in Vanilla Dome 2, you can unlock the path for the Red Switch Palace, which will spawn the red blocks. These don't contain any items, unfortunately, they're just purely for making levels easier. The ghost house in Vanilla Dome pissed me off, not because it's hard, but because it goes against the pre-established rule of every other ghost house in the game, that being it doesn't have a secret exit. You clearly established with the first 2 ghost houses that they have secret exits, so for this one to not have one kind of angered me. Fun level though. Vanilla Dome 4 was always a personal favorite of mine, I think mostly because of the background of this level. It's just fascinating to look at. Also, this level is just straight up fun, with it being one of the more athletic levels in the game, with bullet bills coming at you from up and down and all around. The Vanilla Dome Fortress introduces us to a new enemy, the Magic Koopa. They'll teleport around and cast a spell that will change blocks into other enemies such as Koopas, and given that the first section of this level is nothing but blocks, this can get hazardous really fast. Awaiting us at the end is Lemmy Koopa, whose boss fight will see him emerge from these pipes along with these 2 dummies. As Mario, all we need to do is stomp on him 3 times while avoiding the flying lava bubble. When Lemmy is stomped out of the pipes, we rescue the 3rd Yoshi egg as Mario takes a hammer and demolishes the fortress. We can now tackle the lower part of the Twin Bridge area, starting off with Cheese Bridge. This level starts us off in this section where we need to avoid these chainsaws and ending off on what is possibly the most deviously placed secret exit in the whole game. So behind the normal exit is the secret exit, and you have one of 2 options as to how you can get to it. You could bring Yoshi here and sack him to make the jump under the normal exit, or have the biggest stick energy possible with the cape and fly under the normal exit and gain enough height to reach the secret exit. For getting the secret exit in Cheese Bridge, we can play through Soda Lake, which when beat grants us access to yet another Star Road warp. With the normal exit instead, we can progress to Cookie Mountain, and with that level cleared, we can enter the 4th fortress. The Twin Bridge Fortress starts us off in this tight corridor with these swinging spike balls before making us run through this hall with the spiked ceiling slowly descending down, which always feels like it gets way too close for comfort. Ludwig von Koopa awaits us in this large room where he'll spit out fireballs and will chase Mario around in his shell. We just need to stomp on him thrice, but when you do, he'll do this flip over Mario, which can lead to him going off screen if you're too far to the right, which can be pretty damn annoying. For breaking Ludwig's skull, we save our 4th Yoshi egg, and Mario sends the fortress flying into the distance and landing on this hill in the background, which always gets a good chuckle out of me. If I may reminisce for a bit, these remind me of those old Mario Castle Calamity animations that you could find on YouTube back in the day. I remember watching them with my friends, and we would all have a great time, laughing at them and whatnot. Those were the days. Now we move on to the Forest of Illusion, which has a pretty neat gimmick. In order to progress here, we need to find the secret exit in a specific level, that being Forest of Illusion 3, which isn't too hard to find, so it's not like they put it in some obtuse location. You just need to be Super Mario to break these blocks and insert the key into the keyhole. For finding the secret exit in the water level here, you can gain access to the final Switch Palace, the Blue Switch Palace. Similar to red blocks, blue blocks don't contain anything and are just for making levels more easy to get through. The ghost house here was difficult to get through, not only because it starts you off in this tight corridor, but then you have to weave through these hordes of boos, which can be pretty frustrating due to how low that they hang. The normal exit here opens up an alternate path through the forest, meanwhile the secret exit will do, fuck all apparently. I have to bring this up, but the forest secret area, I swear, was giving me motion sickness due to how fast the background was scrolling, in conjunction with how slow the platforms in the level were moving, that it actually was hurting my eyes to look at, but other than that, it was a pretty easy level. For taking the alternate path, we can find another side fortress. This is pretty much a harder version of Iggy's fortress from earlier. Other than that, it's a nice little distraction before taking on the main fortress in this part of the world. The Forest of Illusion Fortress is one of the very few levels where I used a rather underutilized feature of this game. By pressing L or R, you can scroll the screen left or right to get a better view of what's coming up ahead. You have to ride this snake platform over a pit of lava and a bed of spikes before reaching the final section with these Bowser statues that shoot out fireballs. Now we have to take on Roy Koopa, whose boss fight is pretty much a more difficult version of Morton's from earlier. And I say that in quotations because their way of making this more difficult is by shrinking the arena slightly every time he gets hit. For sending Roy to the Shadow Realm, we rescue the 5th Yoshi egg as Mario... Oh god! Oh, well, rest in peace, Mario. Next up is Chocolate Island, which is full of some pretty challenging levels. The first level here even introduces a new enemy, Dino Rhino, which when stomped on will become a much smaller Dino Torch that moves much faster and can breathe fire. Top it off with the Dino enemies can jump over obstacles, which can catch you off guard if you aren't paying attention. The Chocolate Ghost House pisses me off for the same reason as the Vanilla Dome Ghost House, that being that they're the only 2 ghost houses in the game to not have secret exits, and it bothers me because there's no way to tell on the map if a ghost house has a secret exit, unlike every other level in the game. Outside of that, this was honestly my least favorite ghost house in the game. There's not much going on in here, and you have to get these block boos to form a staircase for you to progress, which means a lot of waiting just for them to get to where you want them to be. I gotta talk about how interesting of a concept Chocolate Island 2 is. This level has multiple segments, and the ones you go through depend on stuff like how many coins you've collected, how many Yoshi coins you've nabbed, and how much time you have remaining. And what's interesting is that this is also how you find the secret exit, which can create a shortcut to the fortress. The Chocolate Island Fortress is filled with buzzsaws and these spiked crusher pillars that get really fast. At the end is Windy-O Koopa, who has her boss fight set up to be a repeat of Lemmy's. With the 6th Yoshi egg saved, Mario uses a mop to erase the fortress out of existence. Like, what the hell? Well, what is that mop made out of? Well, what was it soaked in that it was powerful enough to erase the whole fortress? In the sea, we can find this sunken ship, which reminds me of the airships from Mario 3, but this place is filled with boos, and I mean that. Look at how many there are! The last part of this level is a massive fall with an orb from Mario 3 all the way at the bottom that, when collected, opens up the entrance to the Valley of Bowser. The levels available to play here are some of the toughest we've faced yet. The second one especially put my balls in my throat with how easy it is to get crushed in there. Finding the secret exit here takes us to the side fortress, and by beating that, it grants us access to... a back door? A back door! Bowser, what the hell are you doing, man? I understand you weren't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but why did you leave a backdoor entrance to your castle for Mario to come in and wreck your back door? The 7th fortress is by far the most dangerous one we've entered thus far, with a long snake platform section over lava while avoiding spiked balls before having to deal with Magic Koopas. At the end is Larry Koopa, whose boss fight is pretty much just a harder version of Iggy's with the lava bubbles that litter the arena. But if you know how to do this fight, then this should be no problem. We have now rescued all 7 Yoshi eggs, and with that, Mario... what the fuck? Okay, I understand Mario is strong, strong enough to break brick blocks with his bare fists, but he ain't fucking Superman. Before we take on Bowser, we do have an optional challenge that we can do, so by taking the Star Road Warp, we can take on all of the levels available in Star World, and these are pretty hard. You can at least find the colored Yoshi variants here, so it makes coming to these levels pretty good. In order to make progress in Star World, you have to find the secret exits in all the levels, and upon finding the one in Star Road 5, a new warp opens up that'll take us to the penultimate challenge of this game. Special World contains what are without a doubt some of the hardest levels in the game, with some incredibly difficult challenges for Mario to take on. Also, a neat Easter egg here is that if you wait on the map for 2 minutes, the Super Mario Bros. Theme plays. What is with the names of these levels though? Gnarly, Tubular, Way Cool, Awesome, Groovy, Mondo, Outrageous, and Funky? Who let the 90s run amok here? While we're at it, why don't we go with Cowabunga, Bodacious, Bitchin', Tight, Flyin', Booyah, Reaganomics. This 90s vernacular does not compute with my 2000s brain. Tubular can fucking bite me. You have to use a pea balloon to fly over a massive portion of the level, all the while avoiding these asshat charging chucks throwing shit at you. You also might end up recognizing Groovy as the level you see on the title screen, and that's because it is. The last 2 levels here are tough as nails, with Outrageous having a ton of bullet bill launchers, and then there's Funky, which throws everything in the kitchen sink at you. But at the end is a message in coins calling you a super player, and with that, we've cleared Special World. When we return to Dinosaur Land, you might notice that the seasons have changed, as it seems everything has gone from a summer to autumn aesthetic. Even the enemies have changed their designs, like the Koopas, who now use these Mario masks instead of their shells, and the Piranha plants, which are now pumpkins. With everything now cleared, we can take on our final challenge. Returning to the Valley of Bowser, we can enter Bowser's castle through the front door because Mama didn't raise no pussy. Wait a minute. Bowser's castle is broken up into multiple segments, and what's neat is that you can choose which ones you want to do. You have to do one of the first 4, and then you have to do one of the second 4, with the final part of the stage where it's all dark being where you would start if you went through the back door like a bitch. As we enter the boss door, we find ourselves atop the castle as Bowser descends down in his brand new Koopa clown car. Bowser will toss out Mecha Koopas to attack us, with Mario needing to stop on them to immobilize them so he can pick them up and use them to hit Bowser in the head. After 2 hits, Bowser will fly away with these fireballs dropping down. When he returns, the princess will toss out a power-up and the fight resumes, with Bowser now dropping a ball to squash Mario. Once Bowser is on his final phase, he'll try to stomp Mario out with the clown car, but after another 2 hits, Bowser drops the princess and is sent flying, with Princess Toadstool kissing Mario on the cheek as the 2 of them, as well as Yoshi and the eggs, return to Yoshi's home as the eggs hatch into baby Yoshis, ending Super Mario World. God, what a game. The fact that these people made one of the best games on the original NES and then turned around and made this right after on brand new hardware that they weren't familiar with, it's seriously impressive. Super Mario World is to this day regarded as one of the best video games ever made, and I couldn't agree more. The controls are perfect, the power-ups, while not as varied as the previous game, are so much fun to use. The level design is top-notch, and the gameplay additions made in this game are so much fun, like Yoshi, for example. It's for these reasons that I believe this is not only better than all 4 NES Mario games, but better than every 2D Mario game ever made. I don't think any 2D Mario game has ever come close to matching the sheer joy I feel when playing this one. Well, except for one, but that's a story for much later down the road. After Super Mario World, 2D Mario would move to Nintendo's handheld game systems for the time being, as beginning in 1993, development would start on the next major Mario game, and had the monumental task of bringing the plumber to 3D. That's right, the next time we talk Mario, it'll be with my beloved Super Mario 64. Subscribe to the channel if that sounds interesting to you, and leave a like and a comment should you choose. With all of that said, have a great day or night. Peace.